Ever since they were first aired back in 1941, game shows have become an integral part of Western television. While most game shows fizzle out in popularity over the first few years, there are a select group of ideas that rise above the rest and have maintained their success since their creation. All these shows have something in common. While the premise of the show must still be interesting, it needs one more thing to make it a true hit: a great host. And from Bob Barker on The Price is Right to the recent success of Steve Harvey on Family Feud, there have been plenty of hosts that have done the job well. But there was one that did it longer and better than anyone before him, and he will go down as one of the best hosts to ever live. This is the story of Jeopardy host Alex Trebek. Alex Trebek was born and raised in Sudbury, Ontario in 1940. It didn't take Trebek long before he began to work, when he got his first job as a bellhop at the Nickel Range Hotel, where his father was employed at only 13 years old. Trebek first began working in broadcasting in 1961 when he took a summer job working for the Canadian Broadcasting Company to help pay for his student debts while he was attending the University of Ottawa. Trebek worked hard with the CBC and was quickly rewarded as he began reading the national radio news and even earning some TV time along the way. And it didn't take long until he was offered the job as a TV host for a series called Music Hop.
Music Hop, Alex Trebek.
And while this was a great start, it was far from a dream entrance into television. Alex was only used to introduce guests on the show and have small banter. And even though Alex did fine during his time, he was replaced after a year by a disc jockey named Dave Mickey. And while this was a quick bump in the road, he was still only 23, and Alex was just getting started. Through 1966 to 1971, Trebek stayed with the CBC, hosting a variety of shows. And in 1971, Alex was narrowed down as one of two candidates who would be the voice of Hockey Night in Canada. Was this going to be the break that Alex had been hoping for? Well, no. Unfortunately, executive producer George Mellenby ultimately decided that Dave Hodge was their guy because his boss didn't want someone with a mustache to host Hockey Night in Canada. But missing out on this opportunity just so happened to be a blessing in disguise for him. And in 1973, Alex decided to take a chance, and he left the CBC after over a decade and got his first mortgage on a house in LA and accepted a new job that Alan Thicke had helped him acquire, with the NBC hosting a new game show, The Wizard of Odds, which was promptly canceled after one season. Trebek's fairy tale story wasn't going to be that easy for him. But like he always did, he kept working hard and perfecting his craft. And about a year later, Alex got the opportunity to work on a game show called High Rollers. High Rollers had two stints from 1974 to 1976 and 1976 to 1980. In the years Alex wasn't hosting High Rollers, he was hosting his first and only CBS game show, Double Dare, although this project only lasted about a year. Alex continued to accept TV hosting gigs and began to make his face a little more known, accepting several guest appearances on other popular game shows of the time. Through 1978 to 1984, Alex was the host of numerous shows. But unfortunately for Alex, none of these shows were sticking. Between long commutes for work, constant failing shows, and not even being paid for his work due to bankrupted companies, it all began to look grim for his career. But Alex's hard work and friendly personality finally brought him an opportunity. Art Fleming, the previous host of Jeopardy from 1964 to 1975, was offered to host the show again for a 1984 revival. But Art declined, as he felt the show had lost its roots and he didn't want to be a part of it. So next in line was Art's friend,
Alex Trebek.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of all of us, welcome to America's favorite answer and question game, Jeopardy.
With Jeopardy being a revival of a show, it wasn't expected to last. But through the terrible time slots, being pulled from stations and told the questions were too difficult. Alex and the Jeopardy team turned an almost certain failure into an all-time American classic.
Immoral pleasure seeker. Ken.
What's a hoe?
No. Whoa! Whoa! They teach you that in school in Utah, huh? Al, what's a rake? A rake is right.
In only a few years, the show had grown to 15 million daily viewers. Finally, Alex had found his home. As the decades passed, Jeopardy never lost its following, large in part to Alex's ability to engage with the audience while having fun with the guests. A game show that has questions the average person has no clue on was somehow interesting thanks to him. Time went on and Alex continued hosting Jeopardy while still taking side-time television appearances. He was becoming more a part of all of our families, and even some of the contestants were too. Ken Jennings became the first contestant to gain notoriety as his Jeopardy winning streak began to hit record numbers by a large margin. In Jeopardy, if you had the highest total money at the end of the show, you were able to return the next day and continue your winnings. Alex and Ken became close as he spent a record 75th episode straight on the show. And people like Ken brought millions of people to the program, as his intellect and Alex keeping the show light was an incredible duo to watch. In 2014, Alex broke the record for hosting Jeopardy an incredible 6,829 episodes straight. But on March 6, 2019, Alex was forced to drop a bombshell on the entire country.
Hi, everyone. I have some news to share with all of you, and it's in keeping with my longtime policy of being open and transparent with our Jeopardy fan base. I also wanted to prevent you from reading or hearing some overblown or inaccurate reports regarding my health. So therefore, I wanted to be the one to pass along this information. Now, just like 50,000 other people in the United States each year, this week I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Now, normally the prognosis for this is not very encouraging, but I'm going to fight this. And I'm going to keep working, and with the love and support of my family and friends, and with the help of your prayers also, I plan to beat the low survival rate statistics for this disease. Truth told, I have to, because under the terms of my contract, I have to host Jeopardy for 3 more years. So help me, keep the faith, and we'll win. We'll get it done. Thank you.
The entire Jeopardy community was devastated. The love and support was quickly coming in through social media, and even some of the guests began to show their appreciation. And knowing Alex's condition, Jeopardy decided to host the greatest of all time tournament, where the top 3 money winners over the years came together to play in a final tournament to once and for all decide who is the Jeopardy champion. And during this, we saw one of the most wholesome moments in TV history.
400. He wrote down, who is the ghost, greatest host of syndicated TV? Oh, thank you. Thank you. So you're losing 908 points. And you wrote down there, who is the ghost, greatest host of syndicated TV, and you started to write Pat Sajak, is that right?
What?
I wish you had risked more points.
Unfortunately, even through Alex's fighting and the support of a nation, Alex passed away on November 8th, 2020. The news devastated everyone, and in the following months, they spent their time saying goodbye as they watched the final few episodes that Alex hosted play. But while Alex is still gone, we can look at all the goodies left behind. Alex had hosted an incredible 31 different shows during his time. He obtained 7 Emmys for an outstanding game show host, as well as a star on the Walk of Fame. As a well-known philanthropist, Alex donated countless hours and money to various charities. Alex spent his life helping others, promoting education through his show, and has left his imprint on the entire world. Through 36 years of being with Jeopardy, he never stopped working. And with the whole of Alex being gone, the show may not be the same. But maybe, just maybe, Alex himself inspired the next greatest host of syndicated TV. Thanks for watching. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you very much for watching. It would mean a lot to me if you subscribed, commented, liked, or even shared with your friends. Thank you very much again, and have a good one.